Welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger, 103.3 FM. Let's go to the appropriate Pearl Shreveport hotline, where we welcome in former Northwestern State Demon, a legend for the Demons, who became an all-star as a member of the Cleveland Guardians and became a playoff legend in his own right. He is David Fry. Fry, what's up, brother? How are you?
What's going on, Patrick? How are you?
Man, I am fantastic. Before we go back and relive and all of that stuff, I have to ask about your health first. You had a little off-season surgery on the elbow. Tell me about how it went, how it's going, rehabbing, all of that stuff.
Yeah, surgery went really well. Had it right after the season on my elbow. Dr. Keith Meister, who's kind of the elbow specialist, it seems like, he did a great job. By the way, that's my daughter in the back whining.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Hey, look, you have fans all over the place, Fry. Like that's your life now, brother.
That's right. But yeah, surgery went really good. We're about 3 months out right now, and range of motion, everything like that's coming back really well, and they seem to be optimistic about how everything's looking. So just kind of one day at a time, taking it slow, and hopefully get back pretty soon to be on the field.
So are they doing all this so that you can get back on the mound again? Is that what we're doing this for?
No. Heck no, never again.
Never again? Ever? We're never doing that again? Hey, look, you did have one really successful stint on the mound. Now let's you had one really unsuccessful stint, but you had a really good one as well. So, let's not discount that. And you threw the slowest pitch in the entire season in the major leagues.
Got to be known for something.
I mean, exactly. Well, good to hear. I'm glad rehab is going well. Let's talk about what you got going on right now, because that's part of the reason why we want to chat with you today. Tomorrow, FCA event. Saturday, the Demon Baseball Banquet, where you're getting your jersey retired. First, tell us about the FCA Banquet coming up tomorrow, and then let's talk about the Demon Banquet.
Yeah, the thing tomorrow night is just kind of a pastor that we know who helped officiate our wedding out here. He's in Greenwood at Open Range Church, and he just asked me if I would speak to some kids, kind of tell my story, and I was like, yeah, sure. And he partnered with FCA trying to get kids and teams out to the event. And at first I thought there was going to be maybe like 10, 20 people there. And the way I've been talking to him, and he's making it sound like it's going to be a packed house, and we're going to be handing out bracelets. He told us to have about 1,000 to 1,500. So I don't know how many we're going to have. It sounds like it should be a really fun night, though. A lot of people just kind of get to tell my story, and hopefully help some people who kind of walk in the same path as me, help them out.
Yeah, you're very upfront and open about your faith and kind of how that has helped you through and gotten through it. So I'd imagine, speaking to an FCA event is an easy decision for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's why we're here. Like, there's a passage in Mark where it talks about go to your people and tell them the great things the Lord has done for you. And I mean, I'm not like some professional speaker or anything, but God's given me a pretty cool story, and I think it's a pretty easy way to reach some kids, especially who are involved in sports themselves. And he's blessed me with so much, and I mean, how could you not go and tell kids about it?
Yeah, and then after that, you get to do something that hasn't happened a lot at Northwestern State, and that is have your jersey retired. The number 1 will be up on the outfield wall, and no one will wear it anymore. Just how cool is that, man? Like, you were a guy that very clearly was under-recruited coming out of high school. We always joked you couldn't run out of sight in a week. You were catching, but there was also talk that you might pitch, and then you had some arm issues, and you turned into one of the best hitters that's ever donned a Northwestern State uniform. Like, how cool is that for you to go from coming out of high school, going to college, not even knowing once you got there when you get injured, how successful you'd be. Now you're in the majors, and you had such an impact that they're already retiring your jersey at Northwestern State.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, it's super humbling. Like, couldn't have made a better decision going to Northwestern State. Obviously, a lot of the decision wasn't mine because I just wasn't that good in high school, so I didn't have a whole lot of schools going after me. But the people that were there, that obviously Coach Burrows when I first got there, and his staff recruiting me, and then Coach Barbier when he took over with Bert, who's now the head coach there. Just everybody who's been there has helped me so much, and I wasn't the best player getting there, but they kind of helped me develop as a player and a person. And they obviously don't have a whole lot of guys who have had their jersey retired, so it's a huge honor. I think a really cool part of it is since it's been announced, a bunch of people are like, "So why did you have number 1?" And I was like, because when I went to college, I was about 150 pounds, and there was only about 2 or 3 numbered jerseys that could fit me.
Yeah.
So I was stuck with number 1.
Well, it turns out it was a pretty good decision, and certainly that one will be up on the wall. As you mentioned, not a lot of guys have had their jerseys retired as well. Did you know that you were the first person to hit a home run in the majors since Brian Lawrence?
Yeah,
as a Northwestern
pitcher?
State. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was the last guy to hit a home run from Northwestern State. I may have that wrong. Jason Pugh will definitely correct me if I have that wrong.
Yeah, he'll let you know.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Hey, this journey this year, man, just, you obviously the Brewers, and then you're literally the player to be named later, which, like, let's be honest, players to be named later don't become all-stars. It just doesn't happen. That's not the story that gets written. You end up having an unbelievable start to the season. You make the all-star team. You hit a bit of a slump average-wise after that. Then it comes playoff time, and you're absolutely spectacular in the playoffs. Just kind of, can you encapsulate what the last season was like for you?
Yeah, pretty surreal. I even, like, going into spring training, like, me and my wife heading to Arizona, like, we're not even sure if we're going to break camp with the team. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be in AAA or the big leagues. And we had a new staff this year, Stephen Vogt coming on as manager, and the whole staff was so awesome to me in spring, and just their communication and kind of where they thought I'd be this year and helping me out, and just kind of focusing on the catching thing and hoping that would maybe help me make the team. And with some injuries, I was able to get a little more playing time at the beginning of the year, and things were going pretty well. And then we get close to All-Star break, and me and my wife were kind of looking at each other like, holy cow, like we're getting All-Star votes. This is insane. And that's about the time my arm started hurting. And so that was kind of, like talking about the faith thing. Like, we talked about giving God control, and I was like, I really want to take the control back right now, because I'm starting to actually play good, and like things are looking up. I can't be hurt right now, but had to give it to him, and luckily made the All-Star game. And second half was kind of up and down, and but just I still was getting to DH and come off the bench and hit, and was enjoying that, having fun. And our team was we were so good this year, and like the team was so close. The locker room was amazing, and it was just so much fun showing up every day, and we were so prepared. And then we hit playoffs, and it was just an unbelievable run, and it was blessed enough to have some pretty big moments in the playoffs, and it was a blast.
Yeah, you could say that. David Fry, former Northwestern State Demon and now Cleveland Guardian All-Star. By the way, it is Jason tells me that the Brian Lawrence fact was indeed accurate. You were the first guy to hit a home run as a Demon since Brian Lawrence, the pitcher for the San Diego Padres. Also, the last stolen base for Northwestern State was Nick Heath, but you obviously you had at least one of those this year, which is amazing. Hey, yeah, I know everyone jokes about your speed, so it's fair game. Hey, the playoffs, right? The atmosphere. We all grow up when we're 8, 9, 10, 11. We're in the backyard. Maybe we're hitting off the tee. Maybe we got our dad pitching to us, whatever. And it's always bottom of the ninth. Game 7 of the World Series. It's tied. You need a home run, and boom. Other than it not being Game 7 of the World Series and not being the bottom of the ninth, it was actually the bottom of the 10th. You live the dream, and at home, by the way, which is even better. Like, take me through that. The only time I ever saw you demonstrably emotional in college was when you hit the home run against UNO in the championship game of the Southland Conference tournament. You had a home run in like the 6th or 7th inning, and you pimped it a good bit, which is I'd never seen you do before in your entire life. it ultimately it led to the Demons winning the title. This was that times a million. Can you in any way encapsulate that moment?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still kind of like speechless about it. I go back and watch it every now and then. It's just like you said. I mean, when you're growing up, that's all you like kind of dream of, and you try to slow the game down as much as possible, and like late in the game in the playoffs and stuff, because atmosphere's nuts, fans are going crazy. Obviously, everybody kind of knows what's at stake, and it for some reason it seemed like throughout the entire playoffs I kept coming up with like men on base, 2 outs, like huge situations, and I had my fair share of at bats where I wasn't very good. And actually, the at bat before was off of Weaver, who was kind of their closer down the stretch, and I had a god awful at bat. Like I think I swung at a pitch out for strike 3, and I was like, all right, I need to slow things down.
Yeah,
a bit.
That's not good. You don't want to swing at pitch outs. That's not good.
No, and that's what it felt. I kind of came back to the dugout almost like laughing about how bad it was. But I was on deck in that last one. I was like, of course, another moment. Like I can see what's happening. Bo got on base to start off the inning, and I'm like, it's going to happen again. I'm coming up with 2 outs and runner in scoring position, and I was just on deck, kind of like praying, just like, God help me take this at bat. Like I'm going to put it in your hands, and just kind of I wanted to play with freedom, and went up there, and just like the matchup was actually terrible. That guy was disgusting, and I wasn't very good off him or guys who threw like him, but was able to get a pitch up in the zone and then kind of blacked out from there.
Yeah, it's a blackout moment. There's no doubt. Do you go back and watch it and don't remember what you did? Like you're like, I don't remember jumping there. Like I don't remember pumping my fist or slamming the bat. Like, do you not remember any of that?
Like after the first 3-4 seconds of it, I don't really remember like going back. I'm rounding first and the gum flies out of my mouth. I look like an idiot. I don't remember that. It looked like I almost tripped around second. I don't remember much after that. And then I go back and look, and it looks like Austin Hedges, one of our other catchers, gives me a wedgie, and I can't get my jersey out of my pants. And yeah, there's a bunch of things that I don't really remember going back. I'm like, this doesn't look that great, but it don't matter.
No, it looked great off the bat. David, this journey, man. That's the thing, and look, you're as humble a guy as there is, no doubt about that. And you were when you were in college, and you've continued to be. So many times now you've come up and been the post game interview, which is again awesome. That means you did that a lot when the games are being broadcast just in Cleveland. You've done that a lot since then. Just this journey from player to be named later to where you are now. What has that been like for you? What is what's it like going from an anonymous guy to now? I'm assuming you get recognized regularly in Cleveland, right? Like what's that journey been like for you?
Pretty wild. A lot of ups and downs, but just kind of things you don't even really even dream of. Like I've been to places I don't think I've ever dreamt of, and it's been a lot of help from my wife and kind of her helping guide me in my faith and stuff. And when we first get called up, I was played in AAA for 2 or 3 years, and I took a couple victory laps there, and it's like I don't even know if we're ever going to make it to the big leagues. And then you make it, and you're like, this is amazing. And then we're there and kind of not really playing a whole lot. And when I did, it wasn't great. And it's just like learning to be okay with like leaning on God and His plan. And like I said, don't even know if I'm going to make the team this year. And you look up a couple months later, and I'm at home in Texas playing an All-Star game, and Barbier's there with my family sitting in the stands, and
yep.
Just kind of like full circle. And it's been so much fun and so unbelievable, and so blessed that like Rebecca, my wife, gets to be with me with our daughter Evelyn. They're with me full time. She was in the clubhouse at the All-Star game, like crawling around. Judge is having to like hurdle over or get into his locker. I was like, yeah, my daughter's in your way. Get out of the way, dude.
Yeah.
But it's been so much fun.
That being in an All-Star game that early, like this is, technically your first full season in the majors. You're technically your rookie year, if you will. And here you are, and you mentioned Aaron Judge is there, right? And Giancarlo Stanton, and you're all these all-stars that you look up to. and have looked up to, I'm sure, some of the older guys that have been there. What was that experience like being around those guys? Because it's one thing to be with your teammates, guys that you're with day in and day out, but to be with the best of the best from all the rest of Major League Baseball had to be just a surreal experience.
Yeah, it was a blast. You know, you kind of get there, and some of those guys, you know, this is their 6th, 7th time through, so to them it was just kind of somewhat like another day for them. But it was cool because we had 5 guys. It was me, it was Quan's first time, it was Naylor's first time, and then Jose Ramirez and Clase. They've been there a couple times, but we're kind of sitting in the corner just taking it all in, and just like what an unbelievable experience. And to be around, you know, like you watch those guys on TV and you think they're just it's just so crazy that you're around them, but they're just normal people, and we're in there playing cards with all of them, and it seems like the Guardians are the best card playing team in MLB because we kind of cleaned up in cards.
There you go.
But no, it was a blast. There were so many different moments that it was kind of a blur at the time, but going back, it was so much fun.
You know, one of the fun little inside things within your team, and you mentioned Stephen Kwan, who, you know, it seemed like he was going to bat 600 for the whole season. He was incredible. You and Stephen Kwan had played each other before, all the way back in 2018 at the regional that Oregon State ended up winning the national championship. They had a freshman named Adley Rutschman at the time who, you know, decent. Is that something you relive? Do you talk about what's kind of the story there when it's a guy that you have actually played before?
Yeah, we talk about it a bunch, and he's all like super humble, nice guy, and so he's like, man, yeah, y'all had a great team that year, and I think we played a really good game that day, and I think we lost like 9-4.
Mm-hmm.
Their team they probably had like 7 or 8 big leaguers in their lineup from that team, and he acts like, you know, he was like, you know, y'all were the second best team in that regional that year. Y'all were really, really good. But we talk about it all the time, and I was like, I was playing first base, and I remember having to hold him on about 4 times because I think he got a hit every time he came up,
mm-hmm.
which is not new for him.
No.
But yeah, we talk about it quite a bit, and I give him a hard time that we let them win so they could go win the national championship.
Yeah, and by the way, it was also our morning show guy, Tim Fletcher. He's a Razorback, and obviously Oregon State beat that was the Arkansas drop in foul territory that let Oregon State win. So yeah, and Fletch, by the way, was at the regional. He drove up to Corvallis for that regional.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in 2018. Yeah, he was one of the media members. He's the guy that looked most like a Yeti. Up there, or a woolly mammoth. He's the Sasquatch. He's the one that looked most like that. David Fry, a couple things before we let you go, Fry. One thing, playing so many positions. Obviously, you know, we heard a lot about when they put you in right field, like, oh, this guy hadn't really played a lot. And left field hadn't played a lot. What's that been like trying to be sort of a whatever this team needs type of guy? The only positions you haven't played are, at least in the majors, center field, short, and second. You played all of them in the minors. You know, what has that been like trying to be sort of a whatever, a Swiss Army knife for this team?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, obviously I get more bats out of it because, you know, somebody needs a day off, and whatever position it is, it's like, hey, put Fry there that day. I like you said, I did it. I played them all in the minors, and, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. And then I just remember my first manager, Terry Francona, in 23, was like, hey, I'm sitting in the hole about to go pinch hit. And he's like, would you want to play right field tomorrow? I was like, I haven't played right field in like 5 years. I was like, sure, absolutely, I'll do it. And I think the first ball I whiffed by I think a 10-year-old probably makes the catch, and I whiffed it. But after that, I kind of got settled in. But it's been it's tough getting all the reps of the different positions, but I love it. I get to be, you know, a true baseball player, not just kind of focused on one part of the game. I get to do it all, and kind of makes every day at the ballpark a lot funner because you don't know where you're going to be that day.
Yeah, where they penciling you in for that day. Let's look forward now, Fry. Like, obviously you're going to come back off of the elbow surgery. You know, whatever the timetable is for that. You said about 3 months or so, and you know, you'll get back and you get worked back into the lineup at some point. what do you want? What do you hope that this upcoming season looks like as you work back to full health and then try to get back into that same groove that you had last year?
Yeah, I just I want to be able to get back onto the field, help the boys out. That'll be the first thing, and just being able to get back. And then once we get going, I mean, you kind of talked about the playoffs earlier. Once you experience that, that's kind of all you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, Head just talks about it. One of our guys, there's 2 goals in a year. It's one, make the playoffs. Obviously, winning the division is nice, but as long as you make the playoffs, you got a shot. And so, make the playoffs, and then once you're there, go win a World Series. And I mean, obviously, we'd love to get another shot at the Yankees and maybe the ALCS or something. But we just getting back on the field with the guys, and then hopefully getting another chance to make a playoff run.
Well, if you want to see Fry, there are still tickets available to the Northwestern State baseball banquet coming up at 6 o'clock on Saturday. If you want information about that, how to get tickets, text me, and I will get that to you. We got Bert's number. We got anybody you want. We'll take care of you. We'll hook you up. We'll make sure that you get there, whether it is Bert or it is Mackenzie. Either one, we'll make sure that you are taken care of. So give me a shout if you want tickets to see David Fry and get his jersey retired down in Natchitoches. Fry, man, it's been an absolute pleasure watching you this year. Good health, continued good rehab, and let's go get him next year. You know, why not be a 2-time All-Star while you're at it? No sense not to be, and obviously a nice deep run in the playoffs, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday, brother.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, it's David Fry, Cleveland Guardians All-Star, playoff legend, and about to have his jersey retired for Northwestern State.